It seems like only yesterday when Joe was at the top of the R&B charts. He began his career by writing for other artists, but he has since gone on to be nominated for 7 Grammys and was named the Best R&B Male Artist at the 2001 BET Awards. Even after selling over 5 million albums in the US and singing songs that celebrated women in romance, Joe couldn't stop his career from declining. Did another R&B artist try to sabotage him? Let's find out as we take a closer look at what happened to Joe. Joe Louis Thomas was born on July 5, 1973 in Columbus, Georgia. He was one of 5 children and was raised by his parents who were both preachers. During his early years, his family moved to Alabama, where Joe became an active member of the church. He played guitar and eventually directed the choir. Joe told blogger Clayton Perry that growing up in the church provided him with a sort of humbleness. He also learned how important it was to treat his elders with respect. After graduating from high school in 1990, he continued to sing and write music while working small jobs here and there. At the age of 18, he decided to move to the tri-state area. He said his parents weren't too upset about his decision because he was very respectful when he told them about his plans. He eventually settled down in New Jersey and began working at a gospel record store while continuing his music education through a local church. He met producer Vincent Herbert, and together they recorded a 3-song demo. The purpose of the demo was to highlight Joe's songwriting skills, although he was singing on the tracks as well. He immediately got signed to a publishing deal and began writing music for Mary J. Blige, Escape, Tina Turner, Barry White, Babyface, and SWV. Joe said no one really knew how well he could sing at the time, not even his manager. He felt more comfortable working as a writer, and plus he was happy with his earnings. He told the website he made $45,000 on his first song, and he split the payment with 2 other writers, but it was a huge check for the young songwriter. 1 year after signing with the publishing company, record companies were throwing deals at him left and right. In 1992, he signed with Polygram Records. He told Soul Culture website he knew there were other artists who could sing better than him, but they didn't have the same opportunities he was given. However, he felt really blessed and fortunate to be able to share his talent with the world. In 1993, he released his debut album, Everything. It spawned a number of hit singles, including I'm in Love. He left Polygram behind and signed with Jive RCA for his second album, 1997's All That I Am. The singles All the Things Your Man Won't Do and Don't Want to Be a Player helped the album go platinum with 1.2 million copies sold. He took some time to work on other projects as well. He produced and wrote albums for other artists, including the group Ideal. In 1999, he was featured on Mariah Carey's hit song, Thank God I Found You. He also lent his vocals on the movie soundtrack for The Wood with his song I Wanna Know. That single set the stage for his next project, the multi-platinum album My Name is Joe, which was released in 2000. It was his most successful album, reaching #1 on the R&B charts and #2 on the Billboard 200. It eventually sold over 3 million copies. From that album, he enjoyed several top-charting crossover hits, including the song Stutter. During the next few years, he released Better Days in 2001, as well as the album And Then in 2003. Both albums went gold, but they didn't reach the same level of success as My Name is Joe. In 2003, he took a much-needed break from the scene. He told Reuters that he spent 4 years devoting his time to his real estate ventures, an upscale clothing line named J. Thomas, and his own brand of tequila. He told the website he wanted to branch out and be more than someone who just sings songs, but he couldn't ignore his passion for music. He told Reuters he wasn't intimidated by some of the younger artists who he was going up against, such as Neo. Joe said he was more than happy to pass the baton, but he wanted everyone to know he was still in the race. He released Ain't Nothing Like Me in 2007, and in 2008, he decided to leave Jive Records and made some serious allegations against his label mate, Robert Kelly. During an interview with the Electronic Urban Report, Joe claimed Robert called various radio stations and told them to stop playing Joe's music or he would no longer perform at any of their radio station events. Joe said the programming directors at the stations obliged, and his music slowly disappeared from the radio. Joe later told Vlad TV it all boiled down to jealousy, and even after all was said and done, he was still a fan of Robert's music. After leaving Jive, he went independent underneath Kadar Entertainment. He released Joe Thomas' New Man in 2008, and it landed at number 8 on the Billboard 200. In 2009, his album Signature hit the number 7 spot, and in 2010, he released Home is the Essence of Christmas, followed by another album in 2011, which debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200. In 2013, he released Double Back, Evolution of R&B, which featured collaborations with Fantasia and Fat Joe. He wrote the song Baby about a personal experience when he was in love with 2 women. But he told VH1 in 2013 he was single and interested in getting married. He hasn't gotten married just yet, but as of this video, he has reportedly been in a long-term relationship with Roxy Diaz. In 2014, he signed a new deal with BMG Rights Management and decided to switch up his recording process. He told You Know I Got Soul website that he used to record his music in a big dramatic room with a bunch of crazy equipment, but for his 2014 album Bridges, he decided to record in a tiny little spot in his home. In 2016, his album My Name is Joe Thomas landed at the number 1 spot on Billboard's R&B albums chart. According to sources, this album is rumored to be his last. Aside from allegedly being sabotaged, Joe's career has followed the same fate as other R&B artists who experienced success in the late 90s and early 2000s. Rolling Stone attributed the fall of classic R&B and neo-soul music to the spike in rappers who began infusing hip-hop with R&B melodies, such as Bone Thugs and Harmony, Nelly, and Ja Rule. In a 2016 interview with the Jasmine brand, Joe touched on that subject by saying the lines had been blurred. He believed the current state of R&B is in its own lane, but it definitely has more hip-hop elements than it had in the past. As for Joe, he's fine with being a veteran artist who performs old-school R&B music, like the songs he grew up listening to. But looking back on his career, he had a lot of regrets. He told Soul Culture he wished he would have explored other business opportunities early on in his career. He said he probably would have been a mega entrepreneur, and he wouldn't have signed to a major label. He thought everyone had good intentions and that they were looking out for him, including his attorneys and accountants. And he was disappointed to find out it was every man for themselves. Despite all he went through, the one thing he is most proud of is his ability to financially take care of his entire family, from his parents, his siblings, and his daughter Kayla, who's also experimenting with music. When fans of the show Power preferred Joe's voice over Trey Songz in the show's opening, it was proof that the veteran singer is still a force to be reckoned with. He told Clayton Perry that he wants to continue performing, even when he's 60 years old, but his main goal is to help bring artists together under the spirit of camaraderie, so everyone can help each other out. He wants to be remembered as someone who did a good deed because at the end of the day, he knows it's not all about glitz and glamour. Being seen as a good person, making good music, and maintaining a strong legacy are all that matter to him in the end.
Unforgivable, that makes your heart break. I hope you tell him sorry's just not enough, and it goes from good to bad, so I can have you back.